Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Shawwal and our fellow classmates. Today, we would like to present the topic of deforestation in Brazil. Forests are natural treasures that need to be preserved sustainably in order to drive the socio-economic development of a country and contribute to environmental stability for future generations. According to the World Wildlife Fund, there is the WFF, forests cover 31% of the planet's territory, where these forests provide oxygen and absorb carbon dioxide and house over 80% of the Earth's terrestrial species. More than 1 billion people depend on forests for food, medicine, and fuel. Worldwide, forests employ 31.4 million people directly and another 41 million indirectly. But global forest loss puts these advantages in jeopardy. The dangers materialize as deforestation. According to the National Geographic Society in 2019, deforestation can be defined as the deliberate destruction of wooded area where forests have been destroyed throughout history and into the present day to create way for agriculture and animal grazing, as well as to gather wood for fuel, manufacture, and building. Nowadays, most deforestation occurs in the tropics. Tropical rainforests contain most of the world's biodiversity, hence deforestation is a major worry. The New York Times estimated in 2020 that approximately 47,000 square miles, there is 121,000 square kilometers of tropical forest cover had been lost since 2000. In the world, one of the countries most affected by deforestation is Brazil. According to the World Bank, Brazil's GDP total income was the 8th highest in the world in 2020 at $1.5 trillion. Brazil is becoming a big influence in the global economy. Brazil is the 5th biggest nation in the world and the largest in South America and the Southern Hemisphere. Brazil is the most populous nation in South America with a population of more than 212.5 million people in 2021. However, in the Amazon, 17% of the forest has vanished in 50 years according to the World Wildlife Fund. This region's deforestation is exacerbated by the discovery of lucrative mahogany, gold, and oils.
As the matter of deforestation become one of the heavy topics that need to be discussed, it also a topic that should not be ignored. Deforestation has been globally issued specifically in Brazil. According to BBC News, during 2020 until 2021, deforestation level in Brazil already reached the higher level in 15 years since 2006. However, this matter became more worse, especially when the president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro himself made an announcement to the public that the Amazon rainforest is open for business, which led to the increasing number of deforestation. Based on the National Institute for Space Research, it shown the data that during the period 2020 until 2021, deforestation level up to 22% in a year. The National Institute for Space Research also found 13,235 square kilometers of deforestation in Brazil Amazon rainforest, which also almost the same size of 17 times of New York City.
At this time, the issue of deforestation in Brazil is still ongoing and has not yet come to an end. There are several causes which lead to deforestation in Brazil getting more serious and worsening from time to time. The first cause of deforestation in Brazil is cattle ranching. According to the National Geographic in 2011, ranching can be defined as the process of growing huge herds of livestock on vast plots of land. Cattle is one of the animals that are often raised by ranchers. Cattle ranching is sometimes considered as a strategy to speculate on the appreciation of land values. Cattle ranching has traditionally been associated with economic activity in Brazil. It originated with Portuguese colonialism, where cattle ranching in the Amazon has grown more industrialized since 2000 as more ranchers produce cattle for commercial sale. In late 2009, the Brazilian cattle sector signed the livestock agreement Agreement, which prohibited the sourcing of cattle from illegally deforested regions. However, by the mid-2010s, investigations found that several big cattle producers were laundering livestock through third-party ranchers, avoiding the cattle agreement's protections. Cattle are very mobile, allowing ranchers to move cattle covertly. While Brazil is a major supplier of meat, cattle ranching methods are destroying substantial portions of the Amazon rainforest, and today it is regarded as a major source of deforestation in the Amazon rainforest. For the example, 80% of current deforestation in Amazon is due to excessive cattle ranching, and each year, 340 million tons of carbon dioxide are released into the atmosphere, accounting for 3.4% of total world emissions caused by cattle ranching's destruction of forests. Logging is the second cause of deforestation in Brazil. Logging, or known as commercial logging, can be defined as the process of entails harvesting trees for wood or pulp. The wood is used to create houses and furniture, while the pulp is used to produce paper. In Brazil, clear cutting and illegal logging often happen, which led to deforestation. According to the WWF, there is worldwide a fine. The illegal logging is where timber is illegally harvested, transported, processed, purchased, and sold. According to a recent assessment by Brazilian non-governmental groups, the Amazon rainforest lost 464,759 hectares. There is 1.15 million acres between 2019 and 2020 due to the logging, which has reached the Amazon's undisturbed heart. According to Imaflora, illegal Amazon timber might be sold for half the price of farm timber since labor, taxes, and other expenses are not included. According to the study, it is stated that 94% where deforestation and habitat loss in the Amazon have already reached 18 million hectares may be attributed to illegal logging. According to data obtained by Reuters, IBAMA identified more than 220 firms and 21 logging concessions engaged in different strategies to conceal the provenance of illegal timber. For example, in 2021, the Brazilian Amazon had the greatest deforestation rates in 15 years, nearly entirely due to illegal logging, where it is due to environmental regulations weakened by the Brazil. The last cause of deforestation in Brazil is soybean production. This is where it has been estimated that the amount of soybean producing land in Amazonian states has increased at a pace of 14.1% per year since 1990, and that it currently totals more than 8 million hectares. The expansion of soybean production in the Amazon is being driven by economic factors, notably high grain prices. Aside from increased demand for meat in countries with large and growing middle classes such as India, Brazil, and China, government subsidies for corn-based ethanol production in the US are driving up prices. Because of such subsidies, American farmers are increasingly producing corn rather than soy. Due to decreasing soy output in the US, nations like Brazil need to produce more soy since they have vast agricultural lands. As a result of soy production in Brazil, the Amazon rainforest is being deforested, both directly through forest clearance for new soy fields, which are often massive in scale, and indirectly through the displacement of small farmers who subsequently migrate into forest regions for subsistence cultivation. Further pressure is exerted by the building of infrastructure such as roads and ports to facilitate the increase of soybean production. For example, between 2006 and 2017, the Brazilian government's Protest Deforestation Satellite monitoring system discovered 220,000 square kilometers of deforested land in the Amazon rainforest and Cerrado biomass, where about 10% of that land was then utilized for the soy production.
And then I will explain about the effect of deforestation, which is in terms of biodiversity, indigenous people, and also to ecosystem. The strong relationship between forest and biodiversity is never been questioned by anyone. Therefore, biodiversity is the foundation of all life on Earth, and it refers to biological variation. Regarding to Center for International Forestry Research, the rapid deforestation, forest degradation, hunting, and the introduction of dangerous species from other environments can be a threat to forest biodiversity. The reason why deforestation can threaten biodiversity is because the changes in biodiversity will impact on ecosystem functioning, and major ecosystem disturbances can result in the loss of life-sustaining ecosystem commodities and services. Biodiversity, also known as a very important toward human health, and it ultimately dependent on biodiversity such as freshwater and also food. If ecosystem services are no longer to meet social requirements, biodiversity loss can have substantial direct human health consequences. This image is one of the monkey species, which is white-cheeked spider monkey, and this species wander around in the forest canopy, and usually they are moving in a small family group or 2 or 4 animals. And white-cheeked spider monkey also mostly found in most Brazilian forests. The second effect of deforestation is toward the indigenous people. According to the International Work Group of Indigenous Affairs, Brazil has shown a record of having the highest number of indigenous people living in isolation in South America. It also reported that now 107 indigenous people live in solitude in the Amazon region. When the new president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, was appointed in January 2019, he mentioned to the public that the Amazon is open for public and indirectly destroy the population of indigenous people in Brazil. The most concerning issue towards indigenous people is when the rate of deforestation is increasing. These people will have nowhere to live and survive, and it eventually can lead to death due to lack of nutrition and unable to survive in the forest. The uncontacted indigenous tribes, or known as the indigenous people who voluntarily living in isolation, and it reported that the tribe still exists in all 9 countries of Amazonia, but they are most concentrated in Brazil, where at least 100 indigenous groups are known to live without regular outside contact. And the last effect to deforestation is toward ecosystem. In general, a biological community of living beings that communicates with the physical environment and other non-living components is referred to as an ecosystem. It's also known as the connection between living creatures and their surrounding. With the forest becoming the main sources of oxygen, the destruction in the ecosystem can clearly affect human and animal life too. The growing cases of greenhouse gases in releasing carbon dioxide is one of the effects of deforestation in the ecosystem. This is because having a tree or rainforest is helping in capturing carbon in air. However, due to fires in rainforests and deforestation in Brazil, it seems like the mitigation in combating greenhouse gases is hard to see an improvement. Carbon sequestration happens because all plant biomass is produced through the fixation of carbon in photosynthesis. The theory is that while carbon is occupied in its organic form in plant tissue, it cannot enter the atmosphere and contribute to the greenhouse gas effect.
Now we will proceed to the solutions and recommendation of deforestation in Brazil. Even though Brazil is a country that known for holding the 1/3 of the world's remaining primary tropical rainforests, issues such as deforestation is seen as a crucial matter which desperately needs for solutions for the country. Over the years, the country has encountered an exceptional extent of forest loss due to the factors which contribute to the deforestation. Despite this never-ending issue, this matter can be steered and controlled through a well-defined solution. As for that, there are numerous solutions that can be implemented to overcome this issue. Hence, the Brazilian government has come up with a solution by introducing the Action Plan for the Prevention and Control of Deforestation in the Legal Amazon, or also known as PPCDM, in 2004. The PPCDM is a means taken by the government for deforestation reduction in the Brazilian Amazon through policy measures and multi-stakeholder engagement. Thus, the aims of this measure is to reduce the illegal cutting of forests and based on a three-pillared strategy which includes territorial and land use planning, environmental control and monitoring, and also fostering sustainable production activities. Other than that, according to the Brazilian Ministry of Environment, this action plan is also part of the government's strategy to bring an adjustment as well as transition towards a sustainable development model in the region. The PPCDM that is led by 13 ministries under the direct coordination of the Ministry of Environment has issued over 200 measures over the years where the measures were implemented in the region. In addition, there are 4 phases of the implementation of this plan whereby these plans have yielded results in lowering deforestation rates in the Brazilian Amazon. This is because, according to the result of the Brazil's National Institute for Space Research, or INPE, there is a significant reduction of deforestation rate from 27,700 square kilometers per year in 2004 to 4,500 square kilometers, or a decline about 84% in 2012, followed by a small increase in 2013, which estimated at 5,800 square kilometers. So the graph presented here showed the difference between before and after the implementation of the PPCDM. Other than the measure taken by the Brazilian government, the non-governmental organizations also take the initiative to control this issue. Therefore, the second solution is called the Envira Amazonia Project, which was introduced in 2012. This project is a part of a tropical forest conservation project in Acre, Brazil. It is a project for Ecosystem Services Forest Conservation Project, also known as a Reducing Emissions from Deforestation and Forest Degradation, on 39,300 hectares or about 97,072 acres of privately owned land in Acre. The Envira Amazonia project runs along either side of the Juruperi River in the Amazon basin on land formerly owned by 2 businessmen. The pair sold 200,000 hectares of land to forest management experts, and the Envira Amazonia project was established to preserve the 39,300 hectares of forest within the area that previously destined for deforestation. Thus, the ultimate purpose of the Envira Amazonia project is to protect the area of tropical forests from logging and encroaching cattle ranches. This is due to the increased regional market access to the Brazilian state of Acre, leading to the increase of property values as well as the expansion of cattle ranching. From here, this project is also enabled to simultaneously preserve the area's rich biodiversity and mitigate the release of over 12.6 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent on average each year. For that reason, this project has achieved validation and verification to the Verified Carbon Standard (VCS) and Climate Community and Biodiversity Standards (CCBS) with triple gold level distinction for the project's exceptional biodiversity and community benefits, along with the project's incorporation of climate change mitigation activities. Along with that, the Envira Amazonia project shall assist the Brazilian government to meet with the Sustainable Development Goals. This is because the project enables to contribute and deliver sustainable development benefits in the area, such as biodiversity protection, food security, education and skills, health and well-being, climate change, as well as water stewardship. Next, some of the non-governmental organizations unite in providing recommendations in addressing the problem of deforestation in Brazil. Therefore, through a pathway to zero deforestation in the Amazon, it can, to some extent, help in reducing the deforestation and ultimately able to end this issue. A pathway to zero deforestation in the Amazon is a common vision and collaborative effort by a coalition of NGOs. The suggestion made by this group of people will require a solid cooperation not only amongst NGOs but also involving support and assistance from the indigenous peoples, Amazon social movements, public prosecutors, as well as the government officials at the state and local level. As for that, there are three crucial strategies to achieve zero deforestation and zero illegality that are focused on this recommendation. The first strategy highlighted here is promoting zero deforestation and zero illegality in commodity supply chains. A global parity-based industrial network and a worldwide network that have more than 400 companies, which is known as the Consumer Goods Forum or CGF, encourages its members to adopt the global adoption of practices and standards that serves the consumer goods industry worldwide by showing their commitments towards deforestation-free supply chains for commodities like soy, beef, and palm oil. Hence, to achieve it, startup companies and NGOs are already playing their key roles in meeting that need by developing new technologies for tracking commodities and managing land use and supply chain risk. As for the second strategy, the approach is focusing to create positive economic incentives for forest conservation and reduce deforestation. The economic incentives should be provided as a reward to farmers who comply with the law and have legal right to deforest. Other than that, a progressive state government in Brazil can mobilize the Amazon Governors Forum to support the creation of incentive streams for reducing deforestation using state and federal budgets and federal transfers. Lastly, the last strategy, which is strengthening forest governance and policy design, can be done by providing an effective regulation with a specific focus on developing and enhancing on-the-ground experiences with restoration and degraded areas. Also, NGOs and other Amazon social movements can mobilize the media, scientific community, and public opinion in defense of indigenous land rights, forest protection regulations, and also effective control of deforestation. As for the conclusion, Brazil is among the countries that have committed to end the deforestation by 2030 in line to meeting the goals of the Paris Agreement. The fact that the deforestation that has increased by 22% and facing with the loss of more of 4.9 million acres of the primary forest across the western Amazon has become the major obstacles for the Brazilian government to end this issue. However, through the willpower from the government in addressing and tackling this issue and implementing the right solutions, as well as recommendations through plans, projects, and programs, it may lead to the declining of the deforestation activities and ultimately achieve the goal to put an end towards the deforestation. That's all from us, and thank you.